Hello summoners, welcome back to another damage comparison video. This one is going to be between Kingpin versus Mole-Man, and we are going to also take them against Labyrinth of Legends Red Hulk later on after this Winter Soldier, because spoiler alert, this is going to be a tie. Like, if you really slow it down and see, then you do have a winner, but it's just too close. So we are going to take them against Labyrinth Red Hulk and once and for all settle who is the better damage output character. Now I guess a lot of you might have guessed it, because these two, like, the buff has been out for a couple of days now and people have been, like, there is a lot of gameplay out on YouTube, but I'd like to take this video and explain both these characters' abilities, their damage, utility, similarities, differences, and yeah, it's going to be a fun video. So let's talk about the similarities first. So they are obviously both from the skill class, Excel characters, villain characters. So great for variant 2, variant 5, both capable of unstoppable and shrugging off debuffs. So we are going to talk more about them in a second here, but this Winter Soldier is about to go down in both the clips, so pay a little bit attention to the Mole-Man clip, and I am going to use SP2, and that will, like, you can see the KO come up first, but because he's still in the SP2 animation, so the victory would come later. It's honestly too close. I consider this a tie. So that is the reason I took them both against Labyrinth Red Hulk. Now I'm not sure why Mole-Man didn't purify the Suicide Masteries. I think he's supposed to. Now this is the CCP beta. By the way, I do have a rank 3 6-star on the main server. He's not awakened though, and because I wanted to test both of these characters at rank 3 6 200, and in this, like, the Realm of Legend gameplay, it was unboosted, but here we are using the same boost with both these characters, so it is still fair. But I would say that Mole-Man benefits a lot more from them, and you're going to see why. Because, so one of the things that I have seen some comments about Mole-Man, that he doesn't really do that much damage, and that is probably because people see his gameplay and yeah, he crits a lot, but they don't see the big numbers, no big yellow numbers, no big red numbers, so they assume that he doesn't do that much damage. But that is a very wrong assumption, because this fight is so ridiculous. Like, I legit am probably going to post this again, like the Mole-Man fight just by itself, because he is going to take down this Labyrinth Red Hulk in 80 something hits. I think 84 hits, which is crazy. And the only fight I've seen where any other character have taken, like, it's a rank 3 6-star Nick Fury, again fully boosted, who was able to take down Labyrinth Red Hulk in the second phase a little bit quicker. I think a few other characters like Ghost would also be able to do it as rank 3 fully boosted 6 stars, but there are not many characters in that list who can finish this guy in 80 hits. And Mole-Man, his damage output is pretty ridiculous. Like, all the bleeds, they add up. The fact that you are going to crit on every single hit is so big, and you can keep that up throughout the fight. Like, unlike Captain Marvel movie, you don't really need any synergy. Now there is the Abomination synergy, but it's not required. Even without it, like, I took him in Alliance War yesterday, did not have a problem keeping up the frenzies. And also the unstoppable is so huge. I don't see enough people, like, people have talked about it, but I don't see people appreciate it enough. And until you play him and until you take advantage of that unstoppable on the block, you're not going to, like, because you can also, I was doing it against the Winter Soldier fight, and I think that he requires a little bit higher skill cap, although it's not really hard to do, to be honest. But basically, whenever you block, he goes unstoppable, and that is a perfect time to counter the opponent. You don't have to parry in order to counter. But you can, that also applies with heavy attacks, and when that is a pretty decently long unstoppable. And by the way, his awakened ability, the lesser his health is, the more damage he does. So I was also intentionally using more special attacks so that recoil would put me down, and you can see the 84 hits. That is, if you're not impressed by that, yeah, it is a rank 3 fully boosted 6-star. Well, not fully boosted, but a decently boosted 6-star. But 84 hits regardless is a very impressive number, and I will talk about Kingpin a little bit more here. But between the two, if you have to select, because I went through this, I had both Kingpin and Mole-Man, and I had a skill T5CC from Abyss of Legends, and I had to do a Thronebreaker rank up. Now I could have waited, and that would have probably been the smarter thing to do, but I went with Mole-Man as soon as the buff was announced because he was already a pretty decent character. Like, he lacked the damage, and I thought that he would be the better of all four, and he is. He is definitely my favorite buff, and I like both these characters. They are really good. I think if you want me to rank it, that I say Mole-Man is the best buff, then Kingpin, then Terrax, and then Yellow Jacket. Although I think that Yellow Jacket is a little bit underrated. Like, people say he sucks, but he has occasional uses. Yeah, he's not great, but he is, like, I wouldn't be super mad if I pull him. Especially for a newer roster who doesn't really have, a human torch or weaken void, then he can work pretty well against some regeneration situations. But yeah, Kingpin here, and yeah, I was talking about these two. So they, except like having great damage output, and Kingpin, he has good damage. It's just that he doesn't have very good crit rate. So when he, like you're seeing, especially like Labyrinth, Red Hulk, not the best fight for damage comparisons. I've said it before, because if you're not critting, you're not really doing that much damage, and Kingpin, he doesn't really have great crit rate. Pretty usual Excel character stats, although Mole-Man is also Excel character technically, but still. But when he crits hard, and overall his damage is very respectable. He is extremely tanky. I have a very cool video coming on him tomorrow, so do look out for that. And overall, he, especially with the Mr. Sinister synergy, has just amazing power control potential as well. Good damage, defensive ability reduction on the SP1, some big furies, shrug off mechanic, and I think with the hood synergy you have like guaranteed shrug off debuff thing going on, so he's very good. And Mole-Man, he also can shrug off when he's not in the frenzy mode. The fight was over. So yeah, I guess that's it for this one. But again, this is the live server now. Really happy with my decision. If I could go back in time and choose again, even though after doing this I pulled Kingpin, and now he's awakened, and he's also a pretty decent prestige character, top 4 skill I believe, but I would still have done this, and I think Mole-Man is the better character of the two. I think he's very good, and once people play with him more, they will realize how good he actually is. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, share with your alliance, and bye bye. Stay safe. Have a good one.